friends, denizens of the internet, hello and welcome back to another exciting episode of Forza Horizon 4 over here at LostTimeGaming. I'm Devo. We are jumping back into the shoes of what I guess is a digitally rendered version of myself as an avatar, even though it's not. This is really like just one of the cookie cutter options picked out. That being said, check out this car. This thing's amazing. I don't think you could actually ever drive this on a real road, but man, this thing just looks sick nasty. And it's one of those cars that doesn't really have all the power in the world, but because it weighs so little, it doesn't really matter. So let's take this for a quick spin. We have a lot of cars to look at, and we're going to do a race at some point here. But first, I want to just take this out just for just a little bit of, there we go. Because much like the hypercars, this car as well has just insane turning ability, high speeds. Now, in hindsight, the city is not the best place to showcase that, but at least we actually stopped. Oh, I was going to say before we hit something that time, but we did not. All right, so let's take a right here and give it some gas. Oh yeah, this thing is just fast with a side order of holy crap. That's what this car is. Again, it's not a hypercar, so it's not gonna break any land speed records. But man, I can only imagine the level of enjoyment you could get actually driving something like this. Ooh, that was a lamp pole. Oh, we're losing it. Oh, and we're dead. And we're dead. But the acceleration in something like this is amazing. Oh, look at this wheel. I like how the wheel is basically all the electronics in the car, because everything else has been shaved off, I assume, ooh, and we're dead again, to lighten the weight. Because as I said, the engine in this isn't the world's biggest engine in a car, but it is pretty powerful. And in an open-top, single-seat car, basically weight is your enemy, and downforce is your friend, or else you go flying off into the sunset. And by sunset, I mean you die. So this thing's pretty awesome. Oh, and you can see it's got like, I gave it some sort of like sick, nasty carbon Kevlar body. So this thing would be extremely durable as well and weigh almost nothing. But that being said, we have more cars to look at. So let's see how long I can go before I crash this. And then we'll hop into something else. That was pretty close there. We're running out of easy driving road here. This long right is probably going to get us. Yep. Oh, and we're dead, and we're dead, and we're dead some more. Alright. Oh yeah, this is the mono? I don't even remember what this car is. Well, we'll find out when we go to switch the cars, I suppose. This is a mono 2014 back. I don't know what a back is, but boy howdy, do they got it. That being said, I did look at all the comments from the last episode. Not to say there was like an unyielding amount of them, but I did get a couple of requests as far as, person's dream cars that maybe we could just showcase off here. And I believe one of them was a Nissan Skyline GTR. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I don't think, Crispy Lettuce, that this one that I have is the one that you're talking about, but it's the closest I could get it to. So, 97 Skyline GTR V-Spec. This thing's pretty cool. There is a modern Nissan GTR, but it seems almost totally removed from this car. And this car I gave like a polished aluminum body, so it just looks really cool. Sadly, this takes place in England, and I guess... or not England, but the UK, and I assume that you can actually get this car in the UK. That seems to be the way it is. If you can have the car in the UK in real life, they put the driver's side on the right side. So I can't do nothing about that, but just look at the exterior of this thing. It's just like the spaceship in Attack of the Clones, or not Attack of the Clones, Episode 1, Star Wars, the ship they flee Naboo from. But needless to say, this thing's pretty fun, and I souped it up, obviously. And it's fast. It's a pretty sweet looking car, especially with like polished aluminum to the body. I don't think I've ever actually seen a car like that, as far as having that style of body. Now, it's not a hypercar, so we actually have to brake going around a corner, or we slide into a brick wall, but it sounds really nice. I do love the meaty sound of really high-powered car that just functions nice, because I'll be honest with you, I've never had a nice car. Every car I've ever owned and driven has been on its last legs, to say, we'll put it nicely. I don't think I've ever had a car last for more than 2 years. You know, it's either I've been lucky enough to keep upgrading the year that the car I get is from. My original car was an 85. I think I then upped it to an 89, and I think I had a 90 at one point. So we're moving up generationally, but we still have a long way to go before we get to a modern car, at least I do. So that being said, this is the nice Nissan Skyline GTR V-Spec. I believe I said that properly. And it's a sweet, high-powered machine. And I've tweaked the gear ratios just a little bit to give it a little bit more of a high speed. Doesn't seem to have affected it negatively in any way beyond that. Oh, that's a curve, that's a curve. But it is fun and sounds awesome, and will probably feel really great to drive, if I'm going to be honest. This would probably be a great car, even though it's from 1997. So, that being said, we have a lot more to do, so let's hop out of this bad boy. As soon as we crash it, I guess we'll use that as the standard rule here. And, because it won't take long. And then we'll hop on something else, and I'm pretty sure I crashed there last time as well. That's a shame. So, right next to this person's trash can, and we'll hop into something else. Now, I asked my brother what his favorite cars were, and he's not really a car guy, so to speak, but he is a big Volkswagen guy. So he requested one, and with an addendum for a second, so we'll take out the one that he wanted, and because he's a hipster, the entire body is made out of paneled wood. Or not paneled wood, just literally, like, it looks like somebody custom made a body out of wood and put it on a car. Which, oh man, why would you do that? But this is an R32 Volkswagen, and it looks unassuming, mostly because it's made out of wood, but it's pretty powerful in its own right. Also sounds pretty sweet. Let's see what this thing can do. And it does need the spoiler. Really helps out the car's performance. Don't hit that car. There we go. Okay. And around the corner, a little brake check.
You have arrived at your destination.
Yes, destination being not dying. Take a little trip inside here. Sounds even better in here. Oh, yeah. Oh. No, just don't crash into the cars. There we go. A slowdown is better than a full stop. In the world of not real driving, I suppose. Oh, no, ain't gonna make that. No. And you're dead. In a game with no consequence driving, I feel ashamed to use the brake in that situation. It's like, just stop hitting the accelerator. You slow down eventually. Let's see if we can get some power slide here. Oh, that was too much. That was too much. Oh. There is an option to turn on the drifting camera in the first person's perspective here, where, like, I guess it simulates your head looking sideways while you going sideways. That makes any sense. But I kind of feel like it just makes me nauseous more than anything, so I don't have that on. But there is an option for that. Basically, if you drift all the time, it'll, I guess it's more realistic, you know? Because you wouldn't be looking out the front of the windshield while drifting sideways. You'd probably be looking at the way your car is going. It may not be the correct way, but you'd still probably look that way. Whereas in this game, you're just content to look out the windshield as you slide sideways at 100 miles an hour. Oh, that tickled a little bit. I wonder if we ding the wood. Nah, wood looks fine. I still can't get over how weird this body is, just a wooden body. And again, I don't know if you can actually do that in real life. Even with, you know, X amount of dollars and infinite time and money, I don't know if that's like an actual option you could choose. Be like, here's $10 million, make it happen. They'll be like, sir, your $10 million doesn't change the fact that this is statistically impossible. So, if you know, let me know down in the comment section below. That being said, this thing's not bad. It's got a nice throaty sound. I'm not a huge Volkswagen fan myself, although me and my brother, when discussing this game, were talking about the Volkswagen Thing, which, if you don't know what that is it was like the original car that they were like, how about we just slap as much goofy stuff on it as possible and see how many people buy it. You know, like, here's a slot for your surfboard, and here's the camper attachment for the rear. It was like the original car that did that, and I don't know factually if that's accurate because, again, I'm not a huge car buff, so there may have been cars like that before, but it's the earliest one that I know of. Oh, and also, it's probably the ugliest car ever invented by man, and that's saying something. So, that being said, that's the R32. We'll take this until I crash it, which is probably right about now. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was trying to find the way around that, but I could not. That is Volkswagen. Alright, let's nope, that's a map. We don't need the map. Let's try one more car before we go and find ourselves a race. I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure somebody else mentioned the car, but now I can't think of it. Well, that's not going to help anybody at all. Could take the Imp out for another spin just because that's so fun to drive, but I don't think that's important. Oh, I know. I wanted to... There was another hypercar I wanted to take for a spin, as it's in contention for, like, you know, some of the best hypercars in the game. Here we go. The 918 Spider. We'll take this for a quick spin, and then we'll go do a race. Probably something dirt. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Now, this has a... is it zinc body? It's just insane. Nothing says hypercar like having turning power at 180 miles an hour. It's just you shouldn't be able to turn at that speed. You know what I mean? It should not be possible. But this car's like, physics, I'll see you in hell. Oh, and then we die because we're stupid. Oh, we're dead. Now, in actuality, one of the things that makes hypercars viable is that they're made out of ultralight materials, some of which are incredibly durable, but not all of them. Some materials are chosen just because they are ultra lightweight. But this thing's a mean machine. No, until I drive it right into somebody's rear end, and then I am the mean machine. But this car is also heck of fun. The only problem with this game and the offline racing, I would say, before we get into a race here, is that the offline races against the computer, like they see what kind of car you're driving, and they're like, oh, okay, ooh, let's pick a car from that same tier and type, and then make him race against that. So if I were to take this to a quick race around town, you know, like a short street race, all the cars would be hypercars. And that's really just, it doesn't even matter so much as to the rating, i.e. like what kind of parts and stuff are in it. It's, because if I were to take the GTO, which also has like a 900 plus rating, all the cars would be classic muscle cars. And and I'm dead. And the fun factor to that is really, if I take, say, oh yeah, there was one more car I wanted to check out. If I take something, let's say goofy, out, you know, that's souped up beyond comprehension. Say this 1965 Trident Peel, which, as you see, has an S1 rating of 816 and a 10 acceleration and a 10 launch. Now, this car is supposed to have a 5 horsepower, like, bike engine in it, and that was the best it could do. Now, if I were to do this, you could see that it has, instead of 5 horsepower, it's got about 300 horsepower. And again, weighs only about 600 pounds. So let's take this for a really short spin. And I say short because it's almost literally impossible to drive this thing properly. Just imagine taking a vehicle that had 5 horsepower and slapping a full-on car motor into it, and then trying to drive it. It's just one of those things where you're like, haha, that's pretty funny, but no, seriously, how does that work? And, well, it doesn't. But we can do a sick burnout. Oh, it's got big beefy tires, so it's got heck of grip. Oh, it's just uncontrollable right out from the start. And I've messed with the gear ratios on this, too, to give it a higher max speed, but it's so unsafe. It's so unsafe. Because once you start turning, it's just going to keep doing that. Even letting off the gas, it still just does not care. You let off the gas. Let's see if we could use brake. No, you can't do that. It's basically, you just have to drive it in circles or drive it straight. There is no other option. But just imagine driving this as your everyday vehicle. A 3-wheeler with a bubble top. Why would you do that? Why? Look at him like reach down to shift because it's on the left side. Oh! But this thing is just hilariously unwieldy and just barely works at all. You see, just because the amount of grip it generates is way beyond like what the body can handle. I'm pretty sure it's just the number calculations being ridiculous. If you actually tried to drive this car, what would more likely happen is that it would just tear itself in half. Even with a beefy roll cage, it's just the forces applied to such a small amount of material are just too much. You can't turn it. It's so angry at you for doing this to it. That's what it is. It's angry. You see, oh, we're starting to wobble. Nope, got it back. And then we're gonna fly here. Yes. The taste of fresh insanity as we circle for the 3rd time. You know what, this thing deserves death at sea. So let's just boom into the aqueduct here. Ah! Alright, so we're not gonna win any gold medals in that thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop into something fun to go and get to a race here. And it's funny, I mentioned the last episode about the unskippable cutscenes, and I had one right before I started recording today. So, this is also a pretty sweet car. Let's take a quick look at it. Superlight R500 2013 Caterham. I assume that's how you say that. Probably not correct, but this is another one of the cars where it's super lightweight, but doesn't have a really big engine, but doesn't need it because it's hilariously overpowered. Now you can see there's 775 horsepower at 1,100 pounds. That's absurd. But that's not what we're not looking to showcase this. Basically, we're looking to go and take a ride somewhere. Possibly get some sort of race going on. You can see I've pretty much done most of the races here. And the ones that I haven't done are ones that I consistently lose because the computer is better at doing short stint races and tight corners than I am. So when I take an overpowered car into one of those races, I always lose because, well, I'm just not that good at the at cornering and maneuverability at low speeds, I guess. But let's take this race forward. And I can't imagine driving something like this at high speeds with an open top. Like, I drive a bicycle and I feel unsafe about that. No, I'll take the second exit, alright. Okay,
Turn around when it is safe to do so.
That wasn't the second exit.
At the roundabout, take the 4th exit.
The 4th exit! Or we can just do this. Let's see how fast this thing goes. Pretty fast. 191. Let's not die. Come on, not die. 7 miles. Oh my god, that's gonna take forever to get there. Let's go back to the top here. It's a little less engine noisy here. Well, watch it. Oh, there we go. Man, that'll kill us. That's gonna take forever to get there at this rate. Normally I would just fast travel there, but you can only fast travel to houses that you've bought, and I don't think I own any in the northwest area, which is a shame. as much as I love driving around in this game, sometimes you just want to get to a race and start it. But sadly, that's not always an option. You know what is an option? Going ludicrously fast on an open-top vehicle that weighs, just over 1,000 pounds. That's pretty fun. Oh yeah, roundabout, see you in hell! Take that, roundabout. Traffic laws can suck wang. Oh, that you'd be dead. Oh, that truck had the same idea. Nice. Get up the skill points. And if you're curious as to what the skill points are and like
take the first exit.
The skill rank up or whatever you see sometimes.
Turn right.
It really isn't anything too crazy. It basically just allows you to amass more points kind of deal. It's just, oh, now that you've done this, you got more points per that. And I'm sure that mattered if I was like a, let's top the leaderboards kind of guy, or because there is like group racing and stuff in this where you and a team of people take on another team of people in like series of races. So there is a meaning to the points to a certain extent, unlike older arcade games where the points are just points, maybe you get a free life every once in a while. It's basically, it's not whose line is it anyway rules, where the rules are made up and the points don't matter. The points kind of do matter here. Not a lot, but they do matter. And I like taking this thing out just because this is like a car that I look through the list of all the cars to drive in this game, and I go, oh, I should drive this, but there's so many other fun cars that this one just doesn't come up that often, so I like to take it out every once in a while. Just be like, I still enjoy you, car. You are loved. Okay. Yep, oh. Well, that'll show me. You know what? We're doing this au naturel. That may have been a mistake. Yeah, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have done this. Okay, it doesn't matter. We're there. Oh, I hit rank 100. That's cool. Oh, and... Okay, alright. No, just stop. We're there. I mean, this isn't the car we're going to use. We're going to use the Lancia. Mostly just because I find that it's really good on the dirt tracks, and that's what we're about to do. There is stuff like this 2016 Jeep Trailcat. There is like off-road vehicles specifically for going off-roading. But I feel like that's not why I'm here, dude, kind of deal. You know what I mean? I do use them on occasion, and sometimes races will actually force you to use a certain subset of vehicles. But for this one, we're going to be using the Lancia, just because I like driving this car. It's fun.
You have arrived at your destination.
If I was a car person, I would probably have one of these cars. Would it be as souped up as it is here? Probably not. But it is still awesome. So let's take out the Stradale and see if we can put a hurting on some fools. Now again, if anybody's got any kind of offensive names in the racer list, please just ignore it. There's nothing I can do to control it, and I certainly can't blank it all out because I just don't have the talent. Let's see if we can't take these fools down. Oh yeah, just a little shoulder check there. That's fine. We're good. As long as nobody drives me right off the road here. Okay, we're good. We got it. Sliding. Now I see 1, 2, and 3 are all playing for keeps today. Oh, whoa. Yeah, we'll show you 1, 2, and 3. Oh, I'm flying a little bit. That's the only problem with this car is it just takes off sometimes. And you're like, wait, no, I need you to continue contacting the ground to give more acceleration. I cannot accelerate you when you're flying through the air. At least I haven't found out a way to do that yet. Maybe I can, and I just haven't figured it out. Because that would be fine. I'd be okay with that. Nope, too fast. There we go. Calm it down. That's one of the things that you have to kind of learn through experience as you get into car racing. And I'm sure it probably applies to real life as well, is that you can't always go super fast. You would like to, and it's the ideal situation, but it's not always applicable. Because sometimes you'll just drive off a mountain. There is, as you can see, there is a big giant mountain in this game, and I have not driven off the side of it accidentally yet. As in, like, I've gone too fast and flew off the side of the mountain. Thankfully, that has not happened. But I assume it's a real possibility. You can see there's no guardrails or anything here. And you can accidentally get a head of steam going and just whee! There you go. Now, I can't imagine that being too big of a deal because there isn't permanent car damage. You can set it to where the windshield will crack and your tires will get damaged. But there's no, you know, your front end won't crumple up and you pull to the left because you hit the ground too hard and snapped an axle or anything like that. That would be cool, but that's not gonna happen, basically. I'm not doing the best driving here, unfortunately. Although, to be fair, I don't think I ever claimed to do the best driving. Mostly because I'm not the best driver. I don't have much experience with real-life racing. I did go when a friend of mine had a wedding, several years ago. One thing we did at his bachelor party was we went to a go-kart track and rode go-karts, and that was really, really fun. There we go. We pulled it off. First place. Wasn't that obviously difficult, but we did do it. There's me dancing like a moron in front of my car. Just doing a little of that, a little this. Oh, wow. I like this concept of you standing in front of like a 200-foot wide, like HD screen. I do like that. I think that's cool. But that was the race, and as usual, we'll end this with a hypercar just because, why not? Because we got another minute or so here before we hit our outro. And I think one of my favorite looking ones is the 2018 Senna McLaren, or McLaren Senna, I believe would be the correct way to say it. And this is one of those cars that just looks amazing and is more closer to an airplane than it is a motor vehicle. And you probably won't notice while we're driving, how could you? Although also, trio exhaust tips, that's pretty cool. The spoiler on the back actually adjusts itself while you're driving to give you maximum downforce, and it's the best. So let's, yeah, there we go. See it, you can see it. That's cool. And it like does this like real time while you're driving around. It's like, oh, you're hitting fast, need more downforce, adjust accordingly. Oh, nah, you're dead. I'm sorry. Thank you for playing. Oh, another T. And I love the screens inside these hypercars just being like digital displays. That's awesome. A lot of things to worry about with something like that. But with money like you need for the Senna, which I'm pretty sure is one of those cars that's either close to or over $1 million. You know, if you were to purchase one of these bad boys, I don't think you'd care about issues with the display screen if you had to get it repaired. As I said, I live under the guise of every car I've ever had has been more or less a junker waiting to die. So you're always worried about what the next thing to break down is. Not on this car. On this car, I don't think you'd care. You'd be like, yeah, whatever, who cares? At that much per car, you'd be better off, yeah, just buy a whole new car. Clearly, you have money to blow. Ah, yeah, that's the stuff. So, I guess I'll just do my outro now while we're driving. So, that being said, that's all the time I have for this episode. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining me on another exciting look into the world of Forza Horizon 4. That being said, I'm Devo, LostTimeGaming. If you enjoyed the video today, feel free to leave a like, leave a comment, and get subscribed. Let me know down in the comment section below what you thought about my gameplay, my commentary, or anything else in general. That being said, thanks for watching, and as usual, I'll catch you all On the flip side.